Beneath the fading light of dusk, Blaine discovered a small scrap of paper tucked under his pillow. Its handwritten words, looping and elusive, beckoned him with a simple message: "Meet me where words fly." Blaine's heart pounded as he wondered if this was really Jet's doing, a ghost from a past neither fully understood nor wished to forget. With trembling hands, he folded the note and stepped out into an evening charged with memory and possibility. The street air stung his cheeks as the bruised sky transformed into swirling purples and golds. Blaine's footsteps quickened with a silent urgency as he made his way to Rubens' Used and Rare, a tiny bookstore suffused with the scent of old paper and shared secrets. Inside, the heavy door creaked open to reveal empty, echoing aisles, a silent witness to hours once spent with a friend long lost. Then, from behind a stack of trembling hardcovers, Rubens' voice cut the stillness. "Help you find something?" Blaine murmured his search for a person rather than an object, and there, in a dusky pool of light through a dusty window, stood Jet, real and enigmatic, as if time had set him free. Their eyes met. Words fell between them like delicate invitations to heal old wounds and spark new adventures. Miles away, on a wind-swept cliff, Circe let the endless divide between sea and sky mirror the labyrinth of her thoughts. Memories of ancient empires and distant lands swirled through her like gulls caught in a storm. When a mischievous voice remarked on her legendary force, she only smiled and declared, "I don't get left behind." The ancient omens spun above her in clouds, lion, crown, and beast, reminding her that in a new world, old powers and future destinies entwined. In a quieter corner of the world, Ty stumbled upon 8 battered fiberglass heads at the base of a mountain. Their faded, peeling paint and distorted animal shapes were relics of Wacky Land, a long-forgotten amusement park swallowed by time and neglect. As he recalled the history of Auto Adventure Ranch, Ty marveled at how even the remnants of joy and laughter could call to those daring enough to remember. Not far from these mysteries, in a dimly lit tavern filled with the murmur of shared histories, Branwyn scrutinized a piece of broken parchment. Its wax seal, marked by a coiled serpent and dagger, betrayed family drama and cursed artifacts once sought by her kin. Eames, with a glint of adventure in his eyes, teased her on the perils of retrieving such relics. Amid clever banter and shared memories of previous misadventures, they resolved to set off at dawn for the Old Mire, a bog haunted by bandits and old maps that dared only the bravest to mark its treacherous boundaries. Elsewhere that same night, Oscar, the perennial last to know, found himself navigating the siren call of a party invitation from Bryce, a classmate known for ironic slogans and unexpected camaraderie. Though he had never been the life of the party, this evening held the promise of new connections. In front of a mirror, Oscar chose a nondescript gray shirt with a retro logo, and with hesitant determination, he ventured toward Bryce's apartment. Inside, chillwave music pulsed as laughter filled every corner. Among strategic greetings and fleeting nods, Oscar encountered Kay, a girl with lime green accented headphones and a wry smile, who broke the tension with a playful quip about his chips. Their conversation sparked instantly, unfolding like a secret shared in the midst of the revelry. Yet the party's energy soon led them on an unplanned detour. After leaving the warmth of Bryce's apartment in a Jeep with friends, Oscar found himself along a muddy path toward Cooper's Pond, a forgotten stretch where nature and dereliction met. The pond's surface shimmered with stray ripples, and the air was thick with the scent of Easy Mac water and algae. Bryce's irreverent shouts mixed with Karen's commanding laughter as a haphazard bonfire roared to life, casting dancing shadows over abandoned lawn chairs and relics of past merriment. In a moment of surreal connection, Oscar and Kay claimed a battered chair near the fire, sharing warm cider that spread heat through their bones and a sense of being exactly where they belonged. As the night deepened, the echoes of distant conversations slowed to a murmur. Somewhere between the fading music and the buzz of insects drawn to light, Oscar recalled the bittersweet lessons of past, uninvited nights and secret departures. A history of always arriving late, of being the one who watched life from the edges until, finally, he dared to step forward. In a battered red pickup that rumbled along a deserted path, another soul wandered. A young man named Lucas, returning from a grueling 10-hour shift, wrestling with memories of lost youth, broken promises, and an endless string of tired Tom Petty tunes. In his modest apartment, with only the hum of an electric fan to pierce the heavy summer air, Lucas reflected on the silent tragedies of unfulfilled dreams and familial struggles. Near Cooper's Pond, as dawn threatened to break the spell of night, these disparate lives, the reunited friends, the fierce dreamers, the relic hunters, and the latecomers, found themselves drawn together by chance and necessity. Blaine's encounter with Jet reignited old bonds. Cersei's ancient resolve reminded them of enduring power. Ty's discovery of neglected whimsy testified to the beauty of forgotten joy. Branwen and Eames prepared to challenge a cursed destiny. And Oscar, with Kay by his side, embraced the unexpected promise of new beginnings. Even Lucas, burdened by past missteps, felt a spark amidst the quiet camaraderie and the gentle stirring of communal hope. In that shared moment by the flickering bonfire and the quiet lapping of water at Cooper's Pond, each soul realized that their paths, seemingly divergent and scattered, were threads woven into a larger tapestry. With the first light of dawn softening the darkness, they acknowledged that though time and life might scatter them apart, their choices and shared dreams could always draw them together again, reaffirming that even amidst loss and forgotten memories, hope was an enduring, unyielding word written across their hearts. On a cool evening, Blaine discovered a scrap of paper peeking out from beneath his pillow. His heart raced as he read the hastily scrawled message, "Meet me where words fly." Unsure if it was really Jet's handwriting, especially since it lacked the usual worn appearance of Jet's other mementos, Blaine folded the note with trembling hands. Could it be that Jet had returned? With dusk settling and the sky bruised in purples and golds, Blaine set off down the street, his footsteps echoing urgently as he headed for Reuben's Used and Rare, a haven of memories and the comforting scent of old books. Inside the creaking shop, silence reigned amid empty aisles where laughter and shared secrets once filled the air. Blaine's heart pounded when he glimpsed a lone figure silhouetted in the mottled light from a dusty window. There, as if suspended in time, stood Jet, lost in the pages of an open book and, for a moment, defying the pull of years and distance. When their eyes met, time stilled. "Thought you'd never come," Jet murmured with a wistful smile that bridged lost years with a single promise. "There's more where that came from." In that charged reunion, hope flickered like a reinstated melody, a bittersweet echo of what had once been and what might yet be. Far from the quiet intimacy of the old bookshop, high on a windswept cliff where the sea whispered ancient secrets, Cersei surveyed the world split between water and sky, her mind a labyrinth of past lives from Egypt at Alexander's feet to the burning days of Nero's Rome, stirred with power. A soft voice broke her reverie. She was something. Without turning, she replied, "A force. One I'll use again." A man lounged nearby, his mischief evident as he teased about lost loves and remembered glories. His playful banter, mentioning Eleanor and Jess about her sweetness, anchored Cersei in the present even as she contemplated her role in ushering a new, untamed empire. The ancient omens overhead, clouds twisted into lines and jagged crowns, reminded her that no matter how far the past might be, its magic was ever persistent. Not too far from these echoes of myth and memory, Ty, a solitary hiker on Rabbit Mountain Road uncovered relics of a forgotten time. Amid the maze of sage brush and fir trees, he found 8 towering fiberglass heads, once bright with cheery hues, now coated in dust and peeling paint. These battered remnants of Wacky Land, the cherished amusement park swallowed by gravity and time, stood like silent sentinels to dreams once lived. Ty's discovery was a quiet ode to loss and the transformative power of unexpected finds. In a dim, weathered tavern not far off, Branwen studied a fragile parchment marked with a broken wax seal, a snake entwined with a dagger, and bits of bran flakes clinging to its red edges. Her sister Katrin's familiar signature spelled trouble yet again. Across the table, her partner Eames offered encouragement with a wink and a playful challenge. "Could be fun," he said, though Branwen knew too well the potentially lethal stakes of retrieving another cursed artifact. Their banter, a blend of familial exasperation and steadfast partnership, was a small flame of hope amid the darkness of inherited burdens. Meanwhile, Oscar, accustomed to being the last to learn of life's invitations, felt a familiar thrill when Bryce, an irreverent classmate known for his ironic slogans, tapped him on the shoulder. Though usually sidelined, Oscar accepted an impromptu invite to a party that promised more than the mundane routine of missed events. Standing before a mirror and choosing a gray shirt with a faded retro logo, he set off to Bryce's off-campus apartment. There, the buzz of chill-wave music and raucous laughter mingled as Oscar navigated a gathering that might finally change his place on the periphery. A quick exchange with a quirky girl named Kay who quipped about his bag of chips with a mischievous grin hinted at unexpected connections and the promise of belonging. As the night unfolded, the party spilled out to Cooper's Pond where laughter, playful challenges, and shared warmth under frosted skies built bridges between strangers. In that moment, with cider coursing through his veins and the gentle hum of life all around him, Oscar felt the stir of something new, a fragile hope that maybe he wasn't meant to be invisible after all. Elsewhere, among the lingering traces of abandoned gatherings and quiet homecomings, Lucas trudged home after a grueling shift at a gas station on a stifling summer day. The sticky floor and the persistent hum of a broken air conditioner were as much a part of his life as the faded Tom Petty CD that played once every day, a reminder of a time when dreams still shimmered amid the heat. Memories of missed birthdays, familial disappointments, and the ghostly departures of loved ones loomed large. Yet, as he settled onto an old mattress and switched on a battered fan, Lucas resolved to reclaim some of the lost spark of youth. In the silent promise of that worn space, he vowed that, even in the aftermath of life's relentless challenges, the embers of hope could be fanned into something transformative. In a mosaic of disparate moments, a clandestine note leading to a tender reunion, an ancient force preparing to reclaim her destiny, relics that whispered of forgotten laughter, partners bound by risky quests, and souls daring to join in communal celebration. The night wove its own tapestry. Each character, whether steeped in myth or marred by modern struggles, discovered that no matter how scattered the pieces of their lives might seem, there was a shared impulse to remember, to dream, and to forge ahead. As the darkness deepened and the first hints of a new dawn breached the horizon, these fragments of lives intertwine into a single, resonant truth that every ending, every fading echo holds within it the seed of a new beginning, waiting to burst forth with possibility. Blaine's world shifted the moment he found the scrap of paper protruding from under his pillow. The shaky scrawl read, "Meet me where words fly," and though it carried the unmistakable hint of Jet's handwriting, nothing was certain. With a trembling hand and a heart pounding like a broken record, Blaine folded the note and stepped into an evening awash in bruised purples and golds. Making his way to Rubens' Used and Rare, a place thick with memories and the musk of old books, he found more than just dust and silence amidst empty aisles. There, in a sunlit patch by a dusty window, stood Jet. Time seemed to pause as Jet's eyes caught his, and in that moment the promises of the past whispered of more than memory. "Thought you'd never come," Jet said softly, a grin hinting at mischief and years folded inside a single smile. Blaine couldn't help but laugh. A crack of hope breaking through the stale layers of old regrets. Miles away from the quiet bookshop along the wild edge where sea met sky, Cersei stood on a craggy cliff. The ocean below exhaled ancient secrets, and as she recalled echoes of forgotten empires, from Egypt and Rome to the modern rise of untamed power, her voice carried the weight of destiny. A man joined her side, playfully challenging her remembrance of a long-lost love. They traded words like ancient incantations, agreeing that even this new, restless world could be remade by those who dared to remember and reshape it. In the rugged backcountry along Rabbit Mountain Road, Ty's curiosity was rewarded when he stumbled upon 8 dusty, painted fiberglass heads peering up from the canvas of time. Remnants of Wackyland, a relic amusement ride, long since fallen victim to gravity and neglect, stood as silent witnesses to a lost era of joy. Each figure, whether vaguely bear-like or duckish, was a testament to past pleasures and the allure of reclaiming moments that once made hearts race. Meanwhile, in a dim corner of a bustling tavern far from these landscapes of memory and myth, Branwen unfolded a parchment marked with a broken wax seal, a serpent entwined around a dagger. The message was unmistakable. Another cursed artifact had been found by her sister Katrin. With her partner Eames at her side, and as the sound of rain drumming the tavern windows underscored their conversation, she steeled herself for a quest to the treacherous locale known as the Old Mire. Banter and reluctant humor mingled with the foreboding promise of danger, for family drama often came wrapped in ancient curses and the inevitable pull of fate. Not all hearts were burdened by mysterious messages and forgotten lore. Oscar, too, had grown accustomed to being the last to know. Whether it was football games or bonfire gatherings, one mundane day in AP Psychology, Bryce's casual tap on his shoulder unraveled a chain of events that led Oscar to a party at Bryce's off-campus apartment. What began as typical teenage uncertainty escalated into a sequence of serendipitous encounters, a mirror reflection with countless shirt changes, greetings exchanged in bustling hallways, and finally, a spark of recognition when a bright, lime-green headphones-wearing girl named Kay approached him with a quirky remark about chips. The fleeting moment, punctuated by laughter and whispered secrets, hinted that maybe, just this once, he wouldn't be the last to be told. As the night deepened, Oscar found himself whisked away from the familiar confines of crowded apartments to a more daring and mysterious party held near Cooper's Pond. Here the darkness was laced with mischief, every sound a promise of hidden stories. The gathering became a kaleidoscope of damp laughter, chill wave music, and the spontaneous embrace of youthful freedom. Along muddy paths and beneath flickering bonfires, teammates from swim meets and drifting conversations melded into an urban myth. Oscar, now sharing cider-induced warmth with Kay on an abandoned lawn chair rescued from time's neglect, began piecing together how every small invitation, every overlooked moment, might be threads woven into a larger tapestry of hope. As dawn edged its way over the horizon, the disparate voices of those who had answered secret calls, Blaine reuniting with Jet, Cersei musing about resurrected empires, Ty cherishing relics of lost amusement, Branwen and Eames bracing against ancient curses, and Oscar finding unexpected connection with Kay, began to converge in a delicate harmony. Whether by cryptic notes, whispered legends, or chance encounters, each had been lured toward a common destiny, acknowledging that the past, with all its mystery and beauty, was not something to be buried but to be reborn. In that quiet pre-dawn hour, as the mist reclaimed the sidewalks and bonfires flickered their final farewell, they each embraced a singular truth, that sometimes it takes a leap of faith, a meeting where words truly fly, to begin rewriting the story of yesterday into a hopeful promise for tomorrow. And so, with hearts no longer burdened by what was lost but lifted by what might yet be reclaimed, they stepped forward together into the new day. Blaine's night began with a mystery. A scrap of paper tucked beneath his pillow bearing a cryptic note, "Meet me where words fly." It stirred a disquiet in him, for its familiar yet unanswered handwriting hinted that Jet, long thought lost, might have returned. His heart pounded as he set out into an evening where dusk bruised the sky in purples and golds. With each echo of his hurried footsteps on the pavement, Blaine recalled memories of shared days amid old books and whispered secrets in Rubens used and rare. There, among the quiet aisles of time-worn paperbacks, he finally found Jet, a shadow in the light and an echo of days filled with unspoken promises. Their meeting was wordless at first, a suspended moment where past and present converged before Jet's mischievous smile broke the spell. "There's more where that came from," he murmured, revealing that the night held more puzzles than answers. Miles away, atop a weathered cliff where land met the restless sea, Cersei stood as if guarding the threshold between myth and memory. The wind carried fragments of ancient whispers that Egypt and Rome, empires built on wonders and cruelty alike. A playful voice emerged from behind a rock, teasing her about a past love, and yet her eyes remained fixed on the turbulent horizon. "I don't get left behind," she declared, her tone both defiant and enigmatic. In that balancing act between the promise of rebirth and the weight of history, she resolved to use her strength once more to shape a new world, a world where forgotten forces could be rekindled with the same determination that drove Blaine to seek his lost friend. In the quiet outskirts of the modern world, Ty wandered through an overgrown trail on Rabbit Mountain Road. Hidden among sagebrush and firs, he discovered 8 dusty fiberglass heads standing in silent rows. The last remnants of Wacky Land, a place once filled with laughter and the dazzling colors of youth. Their faded hues and distorted forms spoke of joyful times lost to neglect and decay. For Ty, each relic was a puzzle piece from a grander narrative of hope and sorrow, urging him to hold on to the memories of a happier past, even as he witnessed the relentless march of time. Later that night, in the dim light of a creaking tavern, Branwen unfolded a letter bearing a broken wax seal, a sinister snake coiled around a dagger. The parchment carried the unmistakable scent of family drama and cursed artifacts, and her reluctant duty was to retrieve a relic from a place ominously called the Old Mire. Her partner Eames lightened the heavy air with a wry smile and boisterous promises of adventure. "Then I suppose we leave at dawn," he declared, their banter a reminder that sometimes even misfortune could forge unbreakable bonds. Meanwhile, Oscar, always the one to arrive last, found himself unexpectedly drawn into a night of revelry when Bryce, with his ironic slogan and easy charm, invited him to a party. At first, Oscar's hesitance dwindled as he navigated the crowded lanes of laughter and music. He eventually encountered Kay, a girl with bright lime green headphones and stripes that danced like candy canes. Their encounter was a spark amidst the surreal backdrop of a bonfire at Cooper's Pond, where abandoned lawn chairs and the murmur of forgotten gatherings lent the scene an ethereal quality. In that brief, flickering moment, Oscar discovered a solace in Kay's self-assured smile, a fragile promise that perhaps the night would heal some of his long-held lone lines. As the party evolved, the night led them further into the wild outskirts, where nature reclaimed lost sights. In the cool darkness near a rippling pond, Bryce and Austin emerged from the muck with laughter and mirth, while Oscar, wrapped in a hoodie too large for him, found momentary refuge in the candid, unfiltered confessions shared under star-strewn skies. Laughter, music, and the subtle pulse of a guitar blended into a fleeting dream where time itself seemed to pause, just long enough for hearts to speak volumes without words. Elsewhere, the narrative of life continued its quiet persistence. Lucas, spent from a grueling day at a gas station with sticky floors and sweltering heat, returned to the sparse comfort of his modest apartment. Amid remnants of flawed family moments and whispered recollections of lost opportunities, he recalled how Joey, once the carefree spirit of their youth, had returned with a new look and audacious dreams, their lives riddled with bittersweet routines and the scars of ambitions unmet, now converged in reflections on the passage of time. Their bittersweet reunion, punctuated by the hum of a battered fan and the steady drone of memories, underscored the relentless truth that every ending is but a prelude to something new. By dawn, as the mist lifted and the horizon hinted at new beginnings, all these disparate souls found themselves part of an intricate tapestry. Blaine searched for Jet, Cersei's resolve to reclaim her formidable force, Ty's quiet homage to lost wonder, Branwen and Ames' daring venture into the unknown, Oscar's hesitant leap into connection with Kay, and Lucas's measured acceptance of life's hard truths, all wove together into a single, living story. In that gentle, unfolding morning, the world promised that no matter how fractured the past might seem, every ending carried the potential for a renewed beginning. On an autumn evening that promised secrets and unexpected reunions, Blaine discovered a scrap of paper peeking from under his pillow. Its scrawled note, "Meet me where words fly," set his heart pounding like a broken record. The handwriting, reminiscent of his old friend Jet's, stirred memories of days filled with laughter and whispered promises. With trembling hands and a racing pulse, Blaine stepped into the dusky street, guided by flickering hues of purple and gold, toward Rubens Used and Rare, a haven of old books and older secrets. There, amidst cavernous aisles once filled with shared moments, he found Jet. In the quiet exchange of glances and half-uttered greetings, time melted away, as if the years apart were simply an interlude before a new chapter began. Far from that book-lined refuge, on a windswept cliff where sea met sky, the ancient voice of Cersei whispered over the roaring ocean. With memories of empires and mythic battles swirling like seabirds in a tempest, she stood resolute. Her timeless eyes beheld a man lounging against a rugged rock, his playful words about a lost love drawing a smile from her. "You're still sweet on Eleanor," he teased, and in response, Cersei's quiet determination emerged. "I don't get left behind." In that suspended moment, her gaze swept over the horizon. A promise that even the faded legends of power and destiny might be reclaimed in this new, ever-changing world. In a quieter corner of this mysterious night, Ty, wandering along a forgotten trail lined with sagebrush and ancient firs, stumbled upon 8 dusty fiberglass heads, the dilapidated remnants of Wackyland. Their bright colors, though worn and peeling, whispered forgotten joy and mirth. It was a relic of a bygone era, a symbol of a once-beloved amusement now consigned to memory, much like the fragmented pieces of each person's past scattered across the landscape of this strange evening. Back in the dim interior of a bustling tavern, Branwen examined a broken parchment, a family artifact marked with a serpent entwined around a dagger. The note, unsigned but laced with ominous intent, warned of another cursed relic to be retrieved from a place ominously named the Old Mire. Across the table, Emus's eyes lit with the thrill of danger and adventure. Their banter, laced with equal measures of humor and trepidation, hinted at an unspoken agreement. Though the path ahead was fraught with peril, the bonds of family and friendship were enough to face even the darkest of quests. As midnight settled over the outskirts of town, Oscar, long accustomed to being the last to learn of secret gatherings, found himself reluctantly swept into a party that defied the ordinary. Invited by Bryce, a classmate with a penchant for ironic t-shirts and irreverent humor, Oscar ventured to an off-campus apartment that pulsed with chill-wave tunes and neon lights. There, amid casual hellos and the rustle of familiar yet elusive acquaintances, he met Kay. In a brief, spark-filled moment over a shared bag of chips and a handful of laughter, something shifted inside him. Her playful challenge and easy grace pulled him out of his quiet inertia and into the wild, uncharted territory of possibility, a night where even the unnoticed could find their voice. Later, the revelry spilled into the open, away from glitzy apartments to an isolated pond where nature reclaimed the night. Under a haze of insects, muddy air, and misfit bonfires, Bryce's subgroup roamed drunkenly among abandoned lawn chairs and the relics of forgotten amusement. Oscar, now removed from the chaos and joined by Kay, felt the pulse of history underfoot, a reminder that even in ruin, echoes of earlier wonder persist. Amid playful debates about dubious party snacks and the chemistry of bizarre mixtures, Oscar and Kay claimed a lonely lawn chair as their own little universe, their whispered words melding with the crackle of the fire and the distant murmurs of other seekers of light. As the night deepened further, life on the fringes wove in yet another tale. Lucas, a weary laborer just finishing a relentless shift at a dilapidated gas station, returned home soaked in the bitter tang of summer heat and sticky floors. In the quiet solitude of his threadbare apartment, memories of family conflicts and long-ago dreams rehearsed themselves, of Joey's wild transformations and the unyielding pull of a world that promised both hardships and hope. Even as he prepared for another lonely day, the silent testimony of broken dreams and hard-won survival underscored that each life, no matter how small or forgotten, was part of this sprawling mosaic of strange, bittersweet reunion. By dawn, as the scattered voices and footsteps gave way to the quiet reflection of a new day, the disparate lives of Blaine, Cersei, Ty, Branwen, Eames, Oscar, Kay, Lucas, and others seemed inexplicably intertwined. Each had followed a call, be it the beckon of a note, the lure of a myth, or the chance encounter of a shared laugh, and emerged transformed by the night's medley of danger, hope, and discovery. In those early hours, when the horizon hinted at both promise and farewell, the figures drifted back into their separate worlds. Yet, the night had left an indelible mark. The memory of rekindled friendships, adventures embarked upon, and the enduring belief that even in the disarray of broken records, forgotten relics, and faded echoes, a new story could always begin. And so it ended as it had begun, with a gathering of souls who dared to defy ordinary endings, choosing instead to embrace the endless possibility of a sunrise that promised fresh starts. In the growing dusk, the world seemed to pulse with hidden messages and secret invitations. Blaine first discovered a scrap of paper half hidden under his pillow, a note inscribed with wild, looping handwriting that read, "Meet me where words fly." His heart pounded in time to his uncertain steps as he made his way through the bruised sky toward Rubens' Used and Rare, a repository of old memories and even older books. There, amid cavernous, silent aisles, he finally saw the unmistakable silhouette of Jet. The reunion was wordless at first, a suspended moment where the past and the present intermingled, and when Jet softly remarked, "Thought you'd never come," Blaine couldn't help but sense another chapter was about to begin in his life. Far from this urban reconnection, on a windswept cliff where sea met sky, Cersei stood contemplating her myriad memories. The ocean below whispered ancient secrets of impermanence while she recalled lives past, Egypt under the shadow of empire and a Rome lost in fire. A mischievous companion joined her, teasing about old loves and faded glories. Together they found resolve in the understanding that though empires crumble, a relentless spirit could rebuild the world anew. Her words, measured and powerful, carried the promise that history was not merely to be mourned, but reshaped by those daring enough to stand at its edge. In another quiet corner of the world, Ty wandered a forgotten mountain path lined with sagebrush and firs. His curiosity led him to an unlikely treasure. 8 time-worn fiberglass heads, their bright paint chipped by the years, once icons of a beloved amusement park, Wacky land, as local legend recounted. The silent forms murmured of the joys and sorrows of youth. In this isolated relic of fun and loss, Ty felt the weight of past days and found himself reminded that even abandoned dreams could spark a flicker of hope. Not far away in the dim interior of a worn tavern, Branwen examined a piece of parchment bearing a broken wax seal, a serpent entwined with a dagger. Family drama hung in the stale air as her trusted friend Eames offered words of levity and a promise of adventure. With cautious humor, they discussed the cursed artifact hidden in the murky expanses of the old mire, a place as treacherous as it was mysterious. Trading sharp remarks and gentle banter, the two partners resolved to leave at dawn, their laughter mingling with the persistent drumming of rain against the tavern's shutters, and the weight of their unspoken pasts, easing just a little with each shared smile. Meanwhile, across town, Oscar, a perennial last-to-know wanderer, found himself pulled into the pulse of a party he'd never anticipated. A casual invitation from Bryce in AP Psychology had led him to an off-campus apartment buzzing with chill-wave tracks and exuberant chatter. Dressed in a nondescript gray shirt and armed with a fragile hope, he navigated an evening of cautious greetings and humorous exchanges. It wasn't long before he encountered Kay, a bright-eyed stranger with lime green streaked headphones and a bold wit that cut through his habitual shyness. Their banter over a bag of chips soon evolved into shared laughter and whispered confidences. As the night matured and the revelry shifted outdoors, Oscar sashayed through glistening puddles and algae-scented air, eventually finding himself by the isolated Cooper's Pond. There, amid deserted lawn chairs and the soft rustle of cicadas, a battered red pickup and a wry comment from Kay reminded him that, even in unexpected moments, connection was possible. Elsewhere still, life trudged on with its own quiet dramas. Lucas, worn from a grueling day at a sweltering gas station, returned to his sparse apartment. The persistent drone of an electric fan and the hum of distant memories mingled with the taste of gasoline and antiseptic sweat. In the lonely hours, he recalled his brother Joey's wild return one bitter February night, a night of transformations marked by shaved heads and whispered promises of a better future, as well as the whispered confessions of Max, whose dreams were as fragile as they were bold. These recollections brought both sorrow and a tentative smile. In the bittersweet narrative of their lives, every misstep was a prelude to another chance for redemption, another day to redefine who they were. As midnight melted into the uncertain hues of pre-dawn, threads of disparate lives, Blaine's tentative reunion with a friend from the past, Cersei's celestial resolve to harness the lessons of long-lost empires, Ty's rediscovery of childhood whimsy, Branwen and Emus's courageous quest into the old mire, Oscar's hesitant leap into newfound companionship with Kay, and Lucas's enduring struggle against fading dreams, wove a single tapestry. Each soul, stitched together by yearning, laughter, and pain, reached out in the dark toward renewal. In that shared night, filled with whispered adventures, unexpected meetings, and quiet revelations, they discovered that even as time slipped through their fingers, hope could be rekindled. With the arrival of a gentle dawn, the promise of a new beginning beckoned, a chance to learn from yesterday's echoes, to rebuild, and to affirm that every ending, no matter how tentative, was simply the start of another story waiting to be told.